Hello, Patreon villagers. This is Lori Marie, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. This is a Patreon exclusive, so have fun with it. It's a short little video. I will get the step-by-step instructions to you pronto with a picture of the project. And fun project, April, fabric challenge. We're going forward. I made a little heart to hang from my rearview mirror. Very, very fun. And a little too much coffee this morning. So, see you on the table. So here's our project for today, a Patreon exclusive. If you watch the video about the fabric squares, I did a repeat of that only in a heart shape. So I had fabric, sewing machine, fiber fill, or scraps of fabric. Either way, whatever you want to stuff it with. Scraps, so needle and thread. And that's it. Oh, this was fun and easy. Well, good morning. Busy morning already this morning. Met with Patricia. Had coffee with my friend Lori. Had my teeth cleaned. It's still April. This is a Patreon exclusive, and we are going to play with a couple of things I'm very excited about. So I have 5 strips of thin pieces of fabric. That will become clear. I have 6 pieces of the squares, just like we did for the slump bag. I call it a slump bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is actually going to be the back, and these are going to be the front. So what I'm going to do is I am going to draw a heart on here. Do I think the pencil will work? We'll see. I want it to wash out, so I don't want to use a permanent pen. I'm just going to draw a heart. Good enough. And I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew a heart like this, and then I'm going to go inside that and sew a heart, and inside that, and do it as small as I can. Alright, so I've taken it to the sewing machine, and I have sewn 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines. I'm going to go in with my seam ripper and rip 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, and 4 layers, leaving this heart with a full 5 layers. There'll be 5 layers here and 5 layers of fabric here. All right, so yes, the seam ripper is much easier. If you grab more than 1 layer, oh well, that is okay. Let's see. We got 1 layer, so I'm just going to go around the heart with my seam ripper. I'm going to go through the second ring and trim 2 layers of fabric, 1 and 2. Just go around the heart in that ring. I'm going to go in this third ring and pick up 3 layers of fabric. 1, 2, 3. And on this final ring, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. So the fabric that's going to show through is the blue. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's the blue fabric there, meaning we are all the way to the bottom. And I'm just going to go around that heart. 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers. With the seam ripper, I ran across one of the stitching lines, so I have to take this back to the machine and just double that back in there so that that doesn't let loose. So I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and just reinforce the center of that heart. Now these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strands of frayed fabric, and I'm going to take this to the machine and I am just going to sew one straight line up the middle. Alright, I actually went up and back on this to make it sturdy. Now let's talk about the sewing here. I started here and I locked it, which means go back and forth, around. I pivoted here, came up here and around, blocked it back and forth. Started the next one, locked it back and forth, here and here, up and around. I did a pivot here, which means I pushed the needle down, picked up the presser foot, rotated this, and sewed around. Locked it back and forth. Then I just did that through the complete heart. Okay, this is going to be the back of the heart. So I'm going to put that on there. This is going to be the little hanger for the heart. And I know that we're going to want it about right there. Okay, about right there. And I never use pins, you guys know that. And today I'm going to. And I'm going to be sewing on this side because I'm going to be using the heart as a guide. So I'll put my pin in this way so that the head of the pin does not get in the way of the sewing machine. So this pointy part will not bother the sewing machine as it goes around. This head will, so we're going to leave it that way. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and I'm just going to make a bigger heart around all of that. I will leave this section open because I do want to stuff it. So let's start here, go forward and back, lock it, go around, pivot. It's going to be a slight pivot there, and around, and then back up and lock it so that there's an open space there so I can stuff it. All right, so here's the open part. All right, locked it in place, went around pivot, came around, locked it into place. I can remove my pin, take my fabric scissors and just cut these corners off so that it's easier to turn inside out or outside in. I'm going to snip this. Now I'm going to turn this right side out. I just grabbed a paintbrush to send that out or push that out with. I'm going to stuff it. So I have a pile of fiber fill, And I am just going to start poking that fiber fill into that heart and fill it however full you want to fill it. Now if you don't have fiber fill, of course I'm a use what you have kind of girl, you can always use scraps like this and stuff it with the scraps too. Use what you have. We don't want to throw anything that's like this away, so you can stuff those into your, stuff them into your heart. So this to me is too thick for the heart, so I'm going to go in here and trim that down. That looks better to me. It's not as overpowering. And the stitches in the center of that will hold that together. That looks better. I'm a big fan of sewing with a double thread, so I just loop it through the eye, get the strings the same length, and tie a knot. And I just twirl it around with my thumbs, scoot it, and I have a knot. I'm going to double knot that. There we go. I have a nice loopy knot at the end of my thread. I'm going to go inside here in this first stitch, slide my needle in there, and then that hides that knot. Alright, so the knot's on the inside. Then I just press those pieces together, making a seam, and then I'm just going to slip stitch, just a real simple stitch, just slip it through there and sew that closure. Sew that closed. I do not like to work with a big hole there, so you will see me kind of struggle to turn it right side out and to fill it. But to me, that's better than having the whole side stitched. So that is artist's choice, of course. I'm going to take it that far and I'm going to check the stuffing. Looks like we could use just a little bit more stuffing in there. Hold that seam closed, and then go ahead and slip stitch it to the end. Then when I get to the end, I just wrap it around a couple of times. I create a knot. I bring this thread back through so that it's not hanging out. And there we have it. Pretty amazing. And you know what will happen when this is washed, right? This will fray up nicely. So there's one project for today. Isn't that fun? Next time I do laundry, I'll toss that in. That is very, very fun. So a bead here, or a line of beads here, or a button here would be very, very fun. Artist's choice. Go create, go play, go have fun. This is going to hang from my rearview mirror. That's fun.